Hello.
Hey, it's Lauren.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I am Scary Spice. I'll do that.
So, Lauren, did you guys have any damage from the storm?
Hold on. You're gonna have to unmute yourself.
Okay.
No, I got it. No, not at all, because the way that it came up the east coast of, not east, the west coast of Florida, we're so far up in the panhandle that we got, the western side of it.
Yeah.
And so we expected a lot more wind shearing, possible tornadoes. I mean, we were expecting a lot worse than we got, and even boarded up the north side of our house. And we were actually a little disappointed, which sounds bad, but I mean, they canceled school, and we were just like, it's a beautiful day. I feel badly for the people who are actually, enduring the storm, but nothing.
Well, we have some friends that live in what is it? It's not Venice, but it's just south of Clearwater. I can't think of the name of the town. And anyway, they had some minor damage to their buildings. They run the business and live in the area, and had some minor damage to both. And so the worst thing was she went to Home Depot to get some supplies to do the repairs. And while she was inside, somebody smashed her car window and stole her purse with her wallet in it.
Oh, no.
So she had to cancel all her credit cards, and that was the biggest injury they had from the storm.
Are you kidding? Oh, my gosh.
So it's not all good stories of people helping people.
No, it's people helping themselves.
Yeah.
That's not nice. Yeah, we've heard a lot of stories about that and all the flooding that took place. I think what was worse for us was Chris's family is in Houston.
Oh.
So his family was actually stuck in their development, hey Debbie, not being able to leave, but no flooding. But then my aunt, or Chris's aunt, lives on Buffalo Bayou, where they were releasing all of the water, and they lost everything. They live in this beautiful mansion, almost like a tree house, and she's a professional interior decorator, and he's a big lawyer. And that house was stunning, just a lifetime of work. But
yeah,
it was funny because he has a wine cellar. He's the president of the Houston Wine Club, and he had people emptying his cellar because the wine was more expensive than the house. I was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Tragic situations. And, now there's another storm brewing out there.
My son just came in and goes, there's another one coming. And I was like, really?
Yeah. And this one's taking a lower track, so I don't know what that means for South Florida.
I haven't even looked. Maybe we need to put the boards back up.
Well, right now they're saying Puerto Rico is probably going to get a direct hit. So
that's so sad. I know people who live there.
It's so strange too, because I don't know how it's been for others, but here in Texas, we've had a really mild summer. Normally we'd have a gazillion days of 100+ degree temperatures, and I think we've maybe had 2 days that got to 100 degrees.
We didn't have the sweltering heat that we're used to, but like today, the heat index is in the hundreds, which is weird. So we've had a lot of people with heat exhaustion and dehydration because they're not used to it, because we haven't had a very hot summer. But then all of a sudden, we're outside and they're not even sweating because they haven't hydrated enough. And a friend of mine was playing tennis today, and I just watched her just boom. Yeah. So trying to educate them. But anyway, it's 7:32. I'll stop.
All right. So do you want to say anything before we start, or you just want us to jump in? Or
I would like for you guys to introduce yourselves and just give a little bit about y'all, you and Debbie. And I mean, they know me, so I don't want to waste any of their time or your time, honestly.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I can do that. My name is Randy Stroman, and I don't know where Debbie is on your screen, but on mine, she's right over here. Wave at him, Debbie. And Debbie is my bride and joy, and we love because we get to work together. Both of us are John Maxwell team coaches, and we coach full time. That's our business, and we've had the honor of coaching a lot of people. One that you may be familiar with, Josh Coates. If you could have seen Josh when he was starting, you wouldn't believe it, and that's why there's hope for all of you guys. So, because I'm telling you, it was a lot of work, but he worked very hard and he did the hard work. So, Debbie, you want to introduce yourself? You're muted.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. So my name's Debbie Stroman, and I am one blessed woman who gets to work with my husband 24/7. I'm a certified John Maxwell trainer. I'm a personal development coach. I've coached over 65 beach body coaches since January, and I love getting my coaches ranked up. I love getting their team ranked up, and more than just their success, I love getting them 100% balanced in every area of their life. So I'm excited. I've heard the message that Randy's just about to share with you guys, and what I can say, it's probably one of his best messages he's ever created. And this message, what I can tell you guys is this message was created custom for you guys. So I'm really excited to see what you guys think.
So with that, Lauren, if you want to set the record, and I'll get started. All right, we're good to go. Well, Lauren, first of all, let me just thank you for the honor of speaking to your group. And I'm going to speak for a little bit, and then we're gonna do some Q&A. We want to make sure we leave some time for that and let you guys ask some of your questions. But I just have to say, I love the Beachbody organization, and I love it because it attracts people who want to make a difference, doing something that makes a difference. And I think at a time that makes a difference. And you're all part of an elite group of people who have chosen to do what others are not willing to do. You've chosen to invest your life in helping others to live a better life. And for that, I salute you. And that makes you my kind of people. Because Debbie and I have dedicated our lives to helping people find their best life. And as you know, when someone connects with you and you see the positive change that it makes in their life, well, that's really rewarding. I know you've experienced that. And it's so rewarding to know that you've helped make somebody's life better. And that's why it's such an honor to speak with you tonight, because you help make lives better. Now, as you know, in preparation for this call, I asked you to share with me some of the biggest challenges that you face in building your business. And let me tell you, you really opened up. You shared your heart. And I'm not sure who that is, but I'm hearing a lot of static, so I'm just going to pause there. All right, so we're probably good. Okay. So you guys shared with me. And I want you to listen carefully, because I think you're going to find yourself in these comments because they came from you. So I asked you, what is your biggest challenge in growing your business? And so many of you said that my biggest challenge is me. And that's so true. It really is. It doesn't matter what you're doing. The biggest challenge that a leader faces, it's inside. And let me tell you why that's true, because you're the only person on the face of this earth that you have complete control over. See, you're powerless to change another person. You are powerless to change your spouse. I know that will come as a big disappointment to you, but you are. You're powerless to change your spouse. You're powerless to change your kids. You're powerless to change your boss. Now, you can influence them, and that is powerful, but you are powerless to actually change someone else. And if you tried, then you know it doesn't work. It only leads to even worse conflict, and it creates new problems. It doesn't solve them. You are the only person that you have complete control of. But knowing that you are your biggest barrier, that's actually good news. Because even though at times you feel out of control, the truth is much greater. You are not out of control. You just haven't learned how to activate the complete control that you already have inside of you. It's in you. It's inside of you. It's already in you. And with the right knowledge and the right training, when you learn the simple steps that lead to what you want, then you start to feel in control again. And you start to see results that you want. Because let's face it, every one of us is getting results. I'm going to let that sink in for a minute. Every one of us is getting results. Some of us are getting big results. Others are getting respectable results, while others are getting poor results. But that's still results, isn't it? See, we're all getting results. Some of us spend so much time trying to get results, not realizing that that's not the problem. Results, that's not your problem. The problem is that you're not getting the results that you want. And again, that is a solvable problem. And the answer to that problem lies inside of you. What you need to be asking yourself, and this is so important, what is the cause of my results? And I'm going to say that again. What is the cause of my results? Because we're all getting results, but why are you getting the results you're getting? What is the cause of that? And tonight, I'm going to share with you the answer. But first, let's listen to some of the voices that we're hearing inside of our heads. And many of you expressed in your comments, you express fear. Well, fear comes in many forms. It's still fear. I mean, for example, I heard, what will people think of me doing Beachbody or being in a multi-level, and you can almost hear the pain as they say, multi-level scheme. Let me set the story straight. Because some of you are fighting against a myth. First of all, I don't see Beachbody as an MLM. Now, I understand that's the business model, but I see Beachbody as people helping people. It's people helping people to live healthier lives. And for the knowledge that you've taken the time to learn, and you've then taken the time to share that knowledge with someone else, you should get paid. I mean, does an attorney or an accountant feel bad for getting paid for what they do? I mean, in most cases, they get paid a lot of money. Or a coach. Do they feel bad for getting paid to share what they know, to share what they've spent countless hours learning? Not at all. I can tell you honestly, I have never once felt bad for charging my clients for my speaking or coaching or my consulting. That's what I do. So if you get paid for transferring what you learn about health and fitness or nutrition, so what? That's what you do. You have become a subject matter expert. Now, I've heard this measured many different ways, but people have said that once you've spent 100 hours learning a particular subject, you easily qualify as a subject matter expert. How many hours do you have in? Think about it. You should get paid for what you do. And when you sell products that help people live healthier lives, isn't that a good thing? So why do we buy into the lie that other people are trying to tell us? Why do we buy into the lie that being in an MLM program is a bad thing? Why do we worry about who says no? I mean, think about it. Why do we lose any sleep over those who are predisposed to say no to everything anyway? Why do we let those who say no keep us from helping those who need to say yes? You could literally save their life. Do you think that Apple worries about each individual customer that decides they like Samsung better? Of course not. They look at it from the perspective of how can we increase the number of people who say yes. They don't measure every no. So why do you measure every no? Seriously. Why do you waste so much time stressing over who's going to say no when those who will say yes are waiting on the other side of those who say no? Apple doesn't do that, and they're wildly successful. Many of you are probably on an Apple product right now, listening to me. So you shouldn't do it either. Your success is not measured by the number of people who say no. Your success is measured by the number of people who say yes. You're measuring and stressing on the wrong side of a good business equation. You're living on the failure side of success of that equation. When you measure your no's, you're on the failure side of the success equation. But when you measure yeses, then you're on the success side of that equation. You need to shift your thinking and get over on the success side of that equation. You need to become like Apple and get passionate about all of those people who will say yes. We all know that people that are Apple fans are fanatical about Apple. It's because Apple's fanatical about them. Those people who need you, they're waiting for you. So let me ask you a question. Will you answer their call? And that's why it's so important to pay attention to the voices that you listen to. And you all expressed so many voices in your feedback to me. You're hearing a lot of unhealthy voices. And that's why you're not getting the results that you want. For example, there was the voice that says, my mother was right, or my friends were right, or my husband was right. This isn't going to work. Or the voice that says, why should I try? They're just going to say no anyway. Or the voice that says, they will think I'm pushy. Or the voice that says, who would want me as a coach? I'm such a failure. I mean, look at what I've done in the past. I won't measure up to this challenge. I'm not good enough to handle success. I'll get so far and then I won't be able to sustain it. I won't be enough for my family. I won't be enough for my team. And let me tell you, those voices are all on the failure side of the success equation. Now, then there's the voice that says, if I try this, then people might figure out what a wreck I am inside, and I don't want them to find out how messed up I really think I am. So I'll just coast along. I'm going to play it safe, not risk exposure. That's where you'll stay. If that's you. If you found yourself listening to any of those voices that I just outlined, hear me. Nothing good has ever come from listening to those voices. Nothing. And since we're getting honest, let's get brutally honest. It's easier to blame our family or our friends or the people who say no. It's easier to blame others than to recognize that you, only you, control you. Just as you're powerless to control someone else, only you can control you. No one else. You control which voices you listen to. Those voices in your head, the ones that say, say we don't want, those things, those voices that say the things that we don't want to claim, and yet we still hear those voices, those are not the voices of other people. It's your own voice. You're simply repeating what you heard from someone else. Your voice is the only voice that you can hear inside your head. And that's why it's so important to remember. You are in control. You have a choice. You can listen to the negative voices that seem to validate your feelings of failure and doubt, or you can choose to believe a different voice. And by now, I hope you're asking yourself, but Randy, how do I listen to the voice of confidence instead of listening to the voice of fear and failure? Well, let me ask you a question. Which voice do you feed the most? Think about it. Which voice do you feed the most? If you feed the voice of failure and fear, then those voices will grow stronger and stronger. And if you feed the voice of confidence and success, then those voices will grow stronger and stronger. That's why we do training. That's why we invest in ourselves, because we need to be hearing the voice of success in a much greater amount, much greater volume than the voice of failure. And again, that's something that you have complete control over. Do you have a plan for personal growth? Will that plan have you listening to the voices of success more than the voices of failure? The voice you hear the most is the voice that you're going to follow. I mean, fear is a powerful force. If you let it have a place in your life, it's going to destroy you. Fear was woven throughout many of your responses to the question of what's holding you back. And that's why I chose to focus on that tonight. So I want to spend our remaining time together talking about how to hear the right voices in your head, how to let go of the voice of fear, and how to grab hold of the voice of confidence. Now, recently, Debbie and I participated in a ropes course. Now, if you've never done a ropes course, I highly recommend it. We spent half a day suspended from the ceiling of this large indoor ropes course, facing one challenging obstacle after another. The last challenge, of course, was the Zipline. This was a roughly 200-foot-long descent from the top of the building to the landing platform below. Now, hanging from your support strap, the idea is to let go and let gravity do the rest. And it sounds easy, but once you're standing on that platform, about to let go, you realize that you have nothing left to hang on to. And fear sets in. And if you allow that fear to find a home, to take up residency in your thoughts, then you won't be able to let go. And such was the case of the woman just two groups ahead of us. She stood at the edge of that platform. She stared down that zip line, and the more she thought about letting go, the less she was able to let go. As the fear grew, she started to show emotional and physical signs. Her hands got sweaty. Her legs literally started shaking uncontrollably. And eventually, she was nearly hysterical. And this scene continued to play out over 10 minutes. With all of the other groups starting to stack up behind her, which only added to the pressure. We had no way to go around her. Somehow, she found the courage to let go, and suddenly, she was moving. She was taking a step of faith, and she was overcoming the physical effects of the fear that was inflicted on her, and she found momentum. And a great story of victory that we all got to celebrate with her later. This story highlights the truth that fear is a liar. That's right. Fear is a liar. That's all fear knows how to do. There is a science to fear, and when you understand that science, when you understand the science behind it, it enables you to overcome it. Now, fear is a thought, but it manifests itself emotionally and physically. We feel the effects of fear, so we wrongly conclude that fear is an emotion. Now, fear has emotion attached to it, and fear definitely manifests emotions, but fear itself is not an emotion. Scientifically, it's not an emotion. Think about the word emotion. It's energy in motion, emotion. Energy in motion. So fear has energy. It is a living entity. Now, I know that's hard to grasp, but I just want you to accept that truth, that fear is a living thing. And we know this to be true because it's birthed through a single thought, but once birthed, it's fed through more thoughts. The more you think about fear, the more you feed it, and the more it grows. And as you feed that, it can grow out of control. Now, my science teacher in high school said that's one of the standards of life. When you feed something and it grows, it's alive. For example, when you feed a plant, it grows. It's living. When you feed a child, it grows. It's living. When you feed a virus, it grows. It's living. When you feed fear, it grows. It's living. And here's an example. In 1918, during World War I, a few people caught the flu and their health rapidly deteriorated and many of them died without warning. The disease spread rapidly around the world. Within 25 months, it is estimated that the Spanish flu killed 100 million people. This was a powerful virus that found the human body a great place to feed and grow. And fear, my friends, it operates in the same way as a virus. You provide the right conditions, and it can spread quickly from one person to another. Another thing that my science teacher taught me was the rules of quantum physics. And I won't go too deep into this, but it says that living entities require energy to stay alive. Living entities draw available energy in order to maintain life. This is another proof that fear is a living entity because it requires energy, it requires emotions to stay alive. And when all available energy is depleted, fear dies. If energy is available in the case of emotions, in the form of emotions like negative emotions and a negative mindset, that negative energy goes in motion and fear grows at an astounding rate, just like that woman on the platform. And that's why the more you think about talking to that prospect, the more afraid you become. But there's good news. There's good news in this scenario. Since fear is contagious, that means that confidence is contagious too. You just have to flip the switch from fear to confidence. And just like fear, confidence, as it grows, it too gains tremendous momentum in your business, in your family, in your relationships, and in your personal growth. I mean, just as the woman on the Zipline found her confidence and conquered her fear, she gained effortless forward momentum as a result. See, when you find momentum, it propels you forward. Momentum helps a team perform better than they are. When confidence is strong and your growth mindset active, people around you gain momentum too. They feed off of your confidence. Your confidence begins to infect them so that they now have their own confidence. And now they're inspired to perform at higher levels than before. And they become more effective than in the past. They start getting better results, and so do you, because they have a higher expectation of their own abilities. Now, don't make the mistake of thinking that the answer to fear is to find your courage, because that's a big misconception. Courage is not the opposite of fear. I want you to think about that. Courage is not the opposite of fear. Courage is not the answer. Courage is not the solution to fear. And here's why. If you look up the definition of courage in the dictionary, it says courage is doing it afraid. That's right. Courage is doing it afraid. So courage is the result of overcoming fear. It's not the solution to fear. Courage is what happens when you face your fear and act in a positive way. So if courage isn't the solution, then what is? Now, to answer that question, I have to first make a promise to you. I promise that I'm not going to get too spiritual on you, so indulge me for just a minute if you're not a person of faith, because the best explanation that I've ever found to understand the antidote to fear is found in the Bible. So I'm just going to share one thing with you, and then we'll move on from that. But the Bible reveals the truth about fear. And this is so powerful, and it has the ability to help you, and that's why I want to use that. So I want you to see this, because 1 John 4:18 says, there is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. And it goes on to say, for fear has torment, right? I mean, whoever fears has not been perfected in love. It says there is no fear in love. And it says that perfect love casts out fear. Now, the word for cast there, it means to throw far from you. So love is the key to overcoming fear. Love is the key to finding your courage. That means that you are living with fear. That means that you are living without a mindset that is mindfully aware of what you love. If you're allowing fear to keep you from growing your business, from contacting people who need what you have, then it's a sure sign that you've lost sight of what you truly love. If you're living with fear, it's a sure sign that you need to reconnect with your love. And if you are in fear, it means that what you love is not at the top of your mind in terms of awareness. Now, since I brought up the Bible, if you're a person of faith, it may be interesting to you to know that the Bible instructs us to avoid fear. It says to fear not, to avoid worry, to run from anxiety. It's serious about this because it tells us over 500 times to avoid fear, to fear not. So regardless of your faith, obviously fear is a dangerous force and a horrible place to live your life, because fear is tormenting. Okay, so if we want to succeed, if we want to overcome the voice of fear in our lives, in our businesses, then we have to rid our thoughts of the force of fear. So the answer to fear is to identify and connect with those things that you love. If the things you love dominate your thoughts, then you have no room left for fear. You literally choke out fear with positive thoughts of what you love. You know, those things that you're not willing to give up, those things that you're willing to sacrifice for, like freedom, your family, your ability to help others break free from the trap of poor health and in some cases even poverty. So let me ask you one last question. What's your why? Why are you doing what you're doing? If you're unclear of your why, then the voice of fear will dominate your thoughts. It's a question of what's truly important to you. So let me close with a story that I think will demonstrate this very clearly, and then I'm going to share a way that you can reconnect with what you love, and then we're done. And this will help you to finally overcome fear. Now, I grew up in Minnesota, and I'm thinking back to a cold winter night. My older brothers had organized a party at a nearby lake with lots of their friends. Okay, it was a kegger. And as we approached the lake, I could see the party was already underway. There were 6 cars parked in a circle around a blazing bonfire. And as the party developed and the alcohol kicked in, one of the partygoers, Mike, decided to have fun with the gasoline used to start the fire. He was trying to make a trail of fire leading to a larger pool of gas that he had poured. And it was great fun until the gas can got too close to the fire. And in a flash, the fire traveled from the bonfire right to the gas can. Now, flames were shooting out the gas can like of the spout. Well, in a panic, Mike set down the can and ran away, leaving behind this ticking time bomb. It was a real possibility that the gas can would explode, and yet we all just stood there frozen in fear, watching the flames shoot from the spout, but doing nothing. Now, what I didn't tell you is that all of this took place on the ice in the middle of the lake. Remember, it was Minnesota, very cold in the middle of the winter, and we're all parked on the ice with the fire in the middle. If the gas can explodes, we're going to the bottom of the lake, cars and all. Now, even though the cost of doing nothing might mean death, we stood there frozen in fear. Now, if you're dealing with fear in your business, and there's a time bomb situation in your life, you're likely watching it, hoping that it will work itself out. Inside, you know the risk of doing nothing is greater than the risk of taking action, yet you're frozen in fear, waiting to see if you fall through the ice. And this is where the torment comes in. The fear of doing nothing is just as great as the fear of doing something. You feel damned if you do and damned if you don't. Well, my brother Brian ran toward the flaming can, picked it up, and did an Olympic hammer throw, spinning 360 degrees. He threw that can as far as he could away from the fire. When it hit the ice some 30 yards away, the can tipped over and the fire went out. Now, if not for his action, I might not even be here telling you this story. Now, remember, perfect love casts out fear. The word cast there means to throw as far from you as you can, which is exactly what my brother did. He felt the same fear that all of us were feeling, but because of what he loved, I'd like to think it was because he loved me, but no, it's my brother. It was probably his car. And he loved that car. And because that love was greater than the fear of action, he was able to overcome his fear and he solved that situation. And we all thought he was courageous, and he was. But in reality, he was in love with his car. But that love gave him the courage to overcome his fear. Now, if you're facing fear right now, don't stand there waiting for it to go away. It's more likely to explode in your face. Don't sit there doing nothing, waiting to see if you fall through the ice. Do something. Take action. I like what President Teddy Roosevelt said. He said, at times of great decision, the best thing you can do is the right thing. The next best thing you can do is the wrong thing. How can the wrong thing be the next best thing? But it is, because the worst thing that you can do is nothing. You can recover from a mistake, but you can't recover from just sitting where you are doing nothing. Don't do nothing. Take action. I've since lost track of Mike. I've always assumed that he's in jail somewhere for arson. But Mike, wherever you are, thanks for giving me a great lesson in overcoming fear. That gas can on the lake is like the fear in our lives. It's a ticking time bomb ready to blow everything up and send you to the bottom of your lake. But by defining what you love, by writing it out, you will find the courage to overcome your fear. Now, I know this sounds so simple, but it works. It's powerful. Remember, perfect love throws fear far from you, where it can't hurt you. And it all starts with taking a simple step in the right direction. Toward your dreams, toward your goals, toward what is truly important to you. So let me ask you a very important question. What is your why? Why are you doing what you're doing? It's the same as asking, what is your purpose? See, until you know your purpose and clearly define that purpose, then you're going to deal with fear at every turn. The key to overcoming fear is to clearly define what you love. And you do that by clearly defining your purpose. Your purpose will be found in your passion, in those things that get you excited and get you going and cause you to rise up, those things you truly love. And when you connect with your passion, when you connect your passion with what you love through a clearly defined statement of purpose, that love will be far more powerful than any fear that you'll ever face. You're no doubt familiar with the phrase that a house divided against itself cannot stand. And that's absolutely true. You cannot be in fear and in love at the same time. But the opposite is also true. A person connected in a unity of purpose cannot be defeated. I mean, imagine what you could accomplish if you knew your purpose and lived according to a written plan. It is possible to connect with your unique purpose and finally start getting results that are perfectly aligned with your abilities, getting the results that you want. And that's why Debbie and I created a program that I want to talk to you about, and then I'm going to open it up for Q&A. And the program's called Blueprint for Success. And it's a self-paced online workshop that reveals your unique living, breathing plan for success. Now, through this workshop, you're guided interactively through a step-by-step process to discover your purpose and tap into your passion. And then you write a plan to walk out that purpose each and every day. Your personal blueprint will bring you greater clarity, greater confidence, and help you to connect with the self-image that will allow you to live your dream while pursuing your life of significance. The blueprint walks you through a series of questions that unlocks your true passion for life, helps you find what you truly love, and define it and write it out so that the next time fear comes, you know exactly how to defeat it because you know clearly what it is that you love. You've connected with your passion. It adds clear action steps to your life's vision as it fuels your passion to pursue the life that you've always wanted. As you destroy the bogus story that keeps trying to come back in your head to keep you from fulfilling your purpose, all those lies that we talked about before. In this workshop, it'll help you to overcome that fear as it clears the way for measurable personal progress. And at the conclusion of the workshop, you're going to be able to answer the important question, what is required of me to bring the greatest return and achieve the greatest reward in life? And the blueprint process is insightful, it's liberating, and it's highly effective. And just as it has set hundreds of people free from their fear, it will help you overcome your fears too and live free of the torment that comes with that fear. And this program will help you overcome your fears of talking with people, of connecting with people. It will help you spend less time trying to convince people and more time understanding them. Because now you have a better understanding of yourself. So I'd encourage you to sign up for this workshop. It's only $197 for all 6 lessons, and that includes a 28-page workbook and a full-size life plan that's suitable for framing. So get rid of the fear that's stealing the great results from you. Use the power of love to cast fear far from you. Tap into your blueprint for success. The way you do that is just go to www.myblueprintworkshop.com. myblueprintworkshop.com. And so now what I'd like to do is bring Debbie in and ask some questions. So Debbie, if you want to, or actually, we're having some internet issues, so Debbie's going to turn her computer off as she remembers. They're coming to repair tomorrow, so We were having trouble on an earlier training call. So, and then she's going to come in, sit next to me, and we're going to answer your questions and see what questions you might have. So here's Debbie.
Hey, everybody.
So do you use the raised hand, or you just have people wave, or how do you want to do questions, Lauren?
I had to unmute myself first. That took me a minute. I don't care, because I think if we unmute everybody, we're going to hear all the children, all of the bedtime, all of the cooking, all of the everything. So we can do the raised hand. It's Brenda. Brenda's a brand new coach. I'm just saying, she's right there. Okay, she joined today. Haven't had a chance to welcome her yet. Hi. So I think the raised hand is cool. You guys all know how to do that?
I see lots. Okay.
Okay. So there are multiple pages. There's 2 pages of people.
Yeah, I'll let you unmute them, and then they can, once they're unmuted, they can just ask their question.
Okay, I don't see any raised hands.
Can I make a comment? Once your bogus story, or once your voice gets out of your head, out of your heart, and it gets out of your mouth, it means it puts it into the light. So you no longer have that voice that's swirling around in your head and telling you that story. Once it's in the light, you're not going to have to deal with it as much as if it stays hidden. So one of the things I talk with my clients a lot about is, what are you hiding from me? And what are you really hiding from yourself? Well, it's really not what you're hiding from Lauren, because she can only handle so many people. But it's really not even what you're hiding from your husband or your boyfriend or girlfriend or kids or whatever. It's, what are you hiding from yourself? Because Randy doesn't ask me about my tracker. Randy doesn't ask me about my blocking. He doesn't ask me if I'm exercising. He doesn't ask me if I'm doing my 5 connections today. This is really about you guys and what you're hiding from yourself. So the more that you get it out your mouth, the more that you put it into the light. And then it's really not as bad then, because you've already said it.
Okay, so who's got questions?
Who has a question? Because then I can magically unmute you.
Who has a dream that they want accomplished by December 31st? Who wants to just let that, okay. Sarah.
Sarah.
I gotta find you. It's alphabetical. You think I can handle it? Unmute.
Perfect. Good job, Sarah.
Am I
Sarah,
sharing?
what's your dream by December 31st?
I really want to be at least at a diamond rank by December 31st.
Okay. What's your first step that you're not doing now that you know will create the momentum that's going to take you one step further?
Just talking to people. I just kind of like the platform analogy that you guys were talking about earlier. I stand at the platform and I want to talk to somebody, but I have trouble just doing it.
Perfect. So let me ask you a question. How will you change tomorrow versus the way you were today?
I'll try not to think about it as much. Feeding the fear, I think, is definitely something that stuck out to me with this call. And I think, like Randy said, the longer I think about it, the more afraid I get and the less likely I am to actually press send. So I think I'll just stop thinking about it as much.
So what will you think about? Because if you don't replace those negative thoughts, those fearful thoughts, with something else that's in alignment with the results you want, you're still going to stay over on that side. Mm-hmm. So what will you replace those thoughts with?
Probably thoughts about why I know it can benefit them, how I know it can change their life, because I know it's changed mine and I love it. And I just tapping into that side of it instead of paying attention to the fear, I think is where I'm going to spend most of my time focusing.
Yeah, because until you connect with your why, mm-hmm. you'll always deal with fear. Debbie and I both went through a health transformation last year, and between the two of us, what are we,
190 pounds.
190 pounds released between the two of us. And we like to say we didn't lose it, because when you lose something, what's the first thing you do? You go looking for it, right?
Yeah.
And so we're never going to go back and look for it again. But for Debbie, she, when we first started out, she was struggling with the choices that we had to make, and her aunt asked her a question. She said, "Why are you doing this?" She said, "What do you mean, why am I doing this? I need to lose weight." "No, that's what you want to do, but why are you doing it?" And so Debbie was really challenged by that thought. And so she went back and actually took some time and thought about it. And you want to tell them what you came up with?
Well, what I came up with was that one of my big goals in life was to do a lot of traveling to Denmark. Well, I was too fat to sit in the airline seats. I couldn't really put the seatbelt on. I was huffing and puffing through the airports, and I was complaining with everything that was attached to one of my biggest goals. So I finally decided that if this is one of my biggest goals, I need to make a change in that. And when I found my purpose and I confirmed my purpose that was connected to my passion, and I got rid of the bogus story and I shredded it, the weight fell off, the choices were easier, and I've reduced 80 pounds. Randy's reduced 110, and our life is a different life than it was June of last year. So those decisions and those tools that we use to find our purpose and our passion, we use in every topic now. So we didn't just use it to do our blueprint for success. It's used in our marriage. It's used in our decisions to wake up and be a part of the 5 o'clock club. It's used for everything. It's used in our friendships. It's used with our kids. And
so for her, it was something as simple as being able to fit in a seat, because the travel was important to what we wanted to do with our life's work. And so you have to find your why, and that's why your purpose plays such an important role in this, in getting rid of the fear. And once you find that purpose and connect with it, it's amazing the transformation that takes place in your thinking. Now, I won't tell you that I never have fear, because that's just, we all have fear. The difference is now you have a more powerful force in your thinking, and you go, no, I'm going to do this because I want this. And that passion rises up inside of you, and it fuels your energy and allows you to get momentum going again. And so your purpose is so critically important.
good job, Sarah.
Great question.
Where'd she go?
Can I make a comment about something that about fear? I had a little bit of fear on Saturday, and Randy and I have been studying one specific topic for 34 days. We have about 200 days that we're going to be studying this one topic. And on Saturday, the enemy, or whoever you want to call who he does, that voice in your head, started to bother me on Saturday morning. So it was interesting that the way that the enemy wants to squeeze you and bother you, kind of like a sponge. If you put a lot of water in a sponge and you squeeze it, what's going to come out? Water. So when the enemy squeezes you and bothers you, what you've put in is going to come out. So on Saturday, when I was taking a bath and he was starting to bother me, you know what came out? The last 34 days of studying one topic. So all of a sudden that fear disappeared because of the amount of flooding that I had done to my life with positive studying on a specific topic.
Yeah, you fed your soul.
Yes.
Yeah. Excellent. All right, who's got the next question?
Who's got a dream that's so big that it scares them to even say it?
I see some eyebrows going up.
Okay. Who has a dream that they're just like, I don't even want to say it because it's scary. One of the tools that I have, a lot of my coaches do, is a lot of them have like a 5 diamond or a 15 diamond, goal or whatever. And I make them write themselves a letter and I actually just posted on this today, of what it's going to be like when they are preparing and packing their suitcase, when they pick out the outfit, when they're standing in the really short line, because all the other stars have been already announced, and you're standing right before you walk up the stairs or on the side, and you're walking up and your spouse or your family or someone's in the front row at the convention center, and you're walking up those stairs and you see Carl at the left and you see a really small line. And I want you guys to feel what that feels like, not just confess, oh, I'm going to be 15 diamond or 5 or 10 or whatever. I want you to know what that feels like. So I have them write a letter to themselves after the fact of them getting 15 diamond or 10 diamond and walking down the other side and every other area of their life being perfectly balanced because they've done success the right way. They didn't sell, they coached, and they got people to their dreams. So writing a letter for anything in your life, you know, I have a coaching client right now that's in the total transformation in her marriage. And she's writing a letter to herself about when they renew their vows.
I'll speak up just really quickly. Elizabeth wants to share, and I'm going to totally throw her under the bus because she said she did. But this is what someone from corporate did for me when I'd been a coach for 6 months, because our team had just skyrocketed to the very top of the leaderboard, and I didn't know it because I didn't know what the heck that was. And he said, I need you to visualize what it's going to be like to be top 10. And I laughed hysterically because I didn't know what it was. And it was this unreachable thing that, you know, no one had ever talked to me about. And I just kind of, you put those people up on a pedestal and you think it's out of reach. And he said, I want you to think about what you're going to wear, what it's going to be like to sit in first class, what it's going to be like to eat and sit in Italy and listen to
even the dogs got excited.
Listen to the music and be a part of that and share that and bring your team along with you. And I didn't do it. And I let fear take over for the first 6 months of the year, still working. But when I actually embraced it and let the team know about it, everyone was on board, because it needed to be something that I spoke, but also believed and had to share with people. So you guys sharing this is not saying, I want this and now I'm scared to share it with you. It's saying, I want this and I want you guys to be a part of it. I want you guys to hold me accountable, celebrate this with me, know that that's where my heart is. And so I want you guys to really think about what it's going to feel like, which might seem goofy and like way out there, because it did to me, visualization and, you know, all that crazy stuff. But it became real and it became better than I could ever imagine. But I needed the team to be a part of it. I needed my success partners and my mentors and everybody else to know that I was going for this, and our team came alongside me, and they were working when I felt like we couldn't do it, and I was working, and it becomes this, like, you know, it's just like in a marriage, not, you both can't be upset at the same time, you know, somebody's got to be like pulling the other. It's the same thing with our team. We're constantly in this like back and forth, and we're going to be pushing each other up the hill, up the hill. When someone's tired, someone else takes the lead. And so go Elizabeth. Haha. Did you like that segue? It's a great segue.
Oh, I'm unmuted
What an
already.
intro.
I'm reading some of the comments actually, and they're kind of like what my question is. Like I feel like my why is big enough, and and then I sit here and listen to all this, like, why am I not doing it? If it's big enough, then why am I not doing it? Like, just do it. And it drives me crazy. Like,
Sure,
today,
absolutely. And
I had all this time after work, and I just, you know, I did the dishes, I did the laundry, I vacuumed, and I swept, and then I didn't do anything.
have you ever done just a quick examination of how you spend your time? Debbie does a time blocking exercise that is off the charts.
Probably not.
And you look at where you think your time goes, and then you look at where it really goes, and you go, oh my gosh, no wonder I'm not getting there.
Right.
And so I would encourage you to you know, do a time analysis. And I know that sounds boring and crazy, and I'm not a detailed person, but if you do that, and it's, I always encourage people to say, you know, start with what you think it is. This is what I do, and then for a week, actually record how you're spending your time and where it's going. And at the end of that week, you're going to look at it and you're going to go, oh my gosh, no wonder I'm not getting more results. Because if if where you're putting a majority of your time is not aligned with your goals and your objectives, it's no wonder why you're not accomplishing them.
I'm watching Snapchat and Instagram stories and scrolling Facebook and watching everybody else.
Sure. And if you carve out time for that because that's part of your recruitment process, so be it. But if you're doing it just to see what everybody's up to and not doing it as a business vehicle, then it's probably not going to be productive for you.
Right.
I try to measure the things that I say yes to. Are they connecting me to my goal, and are they connecting me to a business or a personal goal? And a lot of times if they don't connect me to a goal, I really won't say yes to them. Yeah. So getting better boundaries on your yeses and getting better boundaries on your nos.
Yeah. Okay, see, we have about 2 minutes left. We promised you guys that we were going to do a giveaway. So here's what we're going to do. For anybody who signs up for the Blueprint program by midnight tonight on the West Coast, so that's 12 midnight California time, anybody who signs up tonight, we're going to enter their names into a drawing, and 2 people are going to get 2 coaching sessions with Debbie. So that's a $750 value, and 2 people are going to get that. We'll coordinate those results through Lauren and let her know who those people are. So if you're looking to get rid of the fear, I promise you this is the path that will do it. Once you connect with your purpose and you connect that purpose with your passion, and then you get rid of that bogus story that's holding you back, and now you've got a written plan to follow, it's going to take you places. So, Lauren, thank you so much for having us.
Sorry.
I just thank you so much for having us on tonight. We loved being with your group.
Yeah, I'm really thankful that you guys were willing to do this and put this together specifically for us, because I feel like it's something that we can share and share and share, and we'll go back and listen to, because there were so many nuggets for us to share with our teams and for us as a good reminder.
Yeah, and we're going to do one more training for you at least. So what I'd like you guys to do is, if you want to use the same Facebook chat that we used for this meeting, and start giving your follow-up questions and start giving me your follow-up thoughts, and I'll use that as the basis for the next training.
Okay, sounds good. I'll post a graphic.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody. Have an amazing night.
Thank you.